Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another week of T&A Sports. This is A, and over there is
T.
All right, let's go over how we did last week. Don't really want to go over mine, but I will. I went 4-6. T went 6-4, and Barbie went 6-4. So for the season, Barbie has a winning record at 25-24-1.
Yep.
She's 2 games ahead of me and T, who are 23-26-1. We're going to take care of that this week because we're going at least 7-3. So let's go ahead to the first game. The big Texas-Oklahoma game. Texas is a 7-point favorite. Looks like yours is going to play and Gabriel's not going to play for Oklahoma. And as we see in college football, without your starting quarterback, most teams do not have an adequate replacement.
Right.
As we've seen some do. I'm going Texas to cover the 7 against the Sooners.
Yeah, pretty much. Even if Gabriel was healthy, I would lean Texas. Without Gabriel, I'm all over Texas. Texas by double figures.
Okay, game number 2. Them resurgent Missouri Tigers going down to the Swamp. Florida is a 11-point favorite. Missouri's really played their heart out the past 2 weeks and has come up with 2 L's. I just don't think they can continue at that pace. Florida in the Swamp, they need a win bad coming off a bye week and after the Tennessee loss. I'm going with Florida to actually cover. I normally don't like covers, but I'm going to go with this one. The Gator Chomp this week by 11.
And I'm going Florida too. Florida's a lot better team at home. I think Missouri's more of the bottom of the league of the SEC more than they are at the top with Georgia like they showed this past week. I think the Gators, I don't think this line's way off, but I do think Gators cover this one.
Okay, game number 3. Who would have thought, could anybody predicted this before the season? First place on the line between the Horned Frogs of TCU and the Jayhawks of Kansas. TCU is a 7-point favorite on the road. I've really been impressed with Kansas, their head coach. Gosh, has he really done a great job. And with them at home, I do think the Horned Frogs may win, but they won't win by 7. I like the Jayhawks to cover the 7.
Well, I agree with you again. I think I don't think TCU. I think they're good, but I don't think they're good enough to cover 7 at Kansas. I think Kansas is a real deal this year. I don't think they're going to go undefeated or anything, but I do think they got enough to handle TCU by more than 7. So I'm going with them too.
Okay, game number 4. This is a very interesting game. First of all, LSU not playing at nighttime. What a break for the Volunteers. 11 o'clock in the morning game. Tennessee is a 2.5-point favorite on the road. Daniels got banged up in the fourth quarter against Auburn, so we don't totally know about him. But I tell you, count me in on the Volunteers. They have really impressed me all year. 2.5 is not a lot to cover in Death Valley, especially in the daytime. So give me the Volunteers, the 2.5 against LSU.
Yep, I agree again. I think if this game was at night, I would pick LSU to cover in a heartbeat. But being an 11 o'clock game, they don't typically play with the same spunk at 11. Them Cajuns hadn't got lathered up good by 11 o'clock, most of them. I expect Tennessee to win this one by a touchdown or more.
Okay, game number 5. We have Arkansas going to Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a 9.5-point favorite at home. My only thing about this, the big mismatch in this game, I don't know if Arkansas can make up the difference. Coming off that loss to Bama, where are they mentally after going on the road to a very good Mississippi State team? Mississippi State passes. Arkansas does not stop the pass. So I normally don't like going this big of a line covering, as you can tell by the way I talked about the Florida game. But I've got to. Mississippi State will cover the 9.5 against the Hogs this week.
Well, we finally disagree on one. I'm actually going to go Arkansas on this one. Although I do like Mississippi State to win, and somewhere in the 4 to 7 range. I just think 9.5 is a good bit of points. Even though Arkansas is not very good against the pass, I do think they will match up better against a team like Mississippi State that does more of the short passing than they do the teams that do a lot of deep throws. So just for that reason, I'm giving Arkansas a chance to keep it under 10. Otherwise, I think Mississippi State is the better team.
Okay, let's go to game number 6. An interesting Pac-12 matchup. Who would have thought UCLA would be unbeaten at this point? But Utah is going on the road to UCLA. Utah is actually favored by 4.5. Utah does not play as good away from the friendly confines. UCLA really impressed me with the win over Washington last week because I really thought Washington would handle them, and they didn't. So believe it or not, the Chip Kellyisters, they will cover. They may not win, but they will cover this 4.5 at home against the Utes.
I'm going to go with Utah to cover in this one. I think Utah is a much better team. I know UCLA is undefeated. I think Utah is actually a much better team than UCLA. Had Utah not dropped the game at Florida, I think they would have been a lot bigger favorite. So I'm going with them actually covering this line at UCLA.
Okay, game number 7 is the Red Raiders going on the road again, and they are playing the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Oklahoma State is a 9-point favorite at home. Well, since I'm a man and I'm 54, I'm going to Cowboys. They've really impressed me so far, especially on defense. I look for them to hold the 9 against the Red Raiders.
I've actually got Texas Tech in this one. I do think Oklahoma State's going to win the game. I do think they're going to win by probably around a touchdown. I think the line's pretty close. I just got a feeling Texas Tech's going to pull that thing just inside the number.
Okay, let's go to game number 8. It is Washington State going on the road to USC. USC is a 13-point favorite. So you know what that means. It's time for the double-digit dog. Cougars have a pretty good defense. They're really improved this year. They will not beat USC in LA though, but they will cover the 13. I'm very positive on that. Take the Cougars to cover DDD.
All right. On this one, I got Washington State too. I would go as far to say I could see them winning the game. I don't think they will. I think USC will pull out a close one, but it would not shock me at all to see Washington State pull this one out. And so, thus, I'm going with them to cover.
Okay, game number 9. The Fighting Chickens are going on the road to Kentucky. Kentucky is a 10.5-point favorite. Once again, I'm going to do what I don't like to do. I am picking a team to cover a big number. Kentucky plays better at home. They're coming off a just tough loss. They did everything but beat Ole Miss last week. Will Levis has proved me wrong. I did not think he was a quality big-time quarterback. If he gets a little bit of help from Rodriguez and that offensive line, they will cover this pretty easily. Kentucky, 10.5, take it.
Well, you did say South Carolina's the chickens. I agree with you. And what does Kentucky do with chickens? They fry it, baby. Take Kentucky minus the 10.5.
Oh, yeah. Wish I'd come up with that one. And finally, I guess this is the Mormons against the Catholics. Here we go. Yep. Notre Dame going on the road to BYU, and Notre Dame is actually favored by 3.5. BYU is a different team at home. They are, as some different teams that's went into Provo. You just don't go in there as a favorite and expect to come out on the winning side. Take the Cougars at 3.5 points is mighty tasty.
Yeah, I think this one's no doubt BYU. Take the Mormons in this one.
Okay, so now I think we have Barbie's picks again, so let's hear what they are.
Yep, once again, Barbie wasn't able to be with us for this recording, but she did turn in her picks. She did want to pass along that she is above 500, just to remind everybody. So here, if you waiting to hear her picks, here they are. She's got Texas covering and winning. She has Missouri covering, Florida winning. She has TCU to cover and win. She has Tennessee to cover and win. She has Arkansas covering, Mississippi State winning. She has Utah covering and winning. She has Oklahoma State covering and winning. She has Washington State covering, USC winning, South Carolina covering, Kentucky winning, and BYU covering and winning.
Well, all right, there you go for this week. You better have listened because this is going to be a great week if you listen to our picks this week. We appreciate everybody that does listen and everybody that comes aboard. Just tell your friends, hey, we're here. We got picks just waiting for you to make money on. That's it for this week for TNA Sports, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
See you next time, guys.